How's it going, football fans around the world, and welcome back to my channel. So if you didn't see my last video, I gave you guys my thoughts on the real reason as to why Bayern fired Julian Nagelsmann. There's a whole lot of different rumors going on and yada, yada, yada. That's in the past now. This is now the Thomas Tuchel era. So in this video, I'm going to be starting with the question, and the question is, and please feel free to comment down below what your guys' thoughts is. What does Thomas Tuchel have to achieve by the end of the season for the Bayern board and for the Bayern director, and most importantly, for the Bayern fans to believe that this was the right decision to fire Julian and to hire Tuchel? Please let me know down in the comments down below, but let's get into it. So Bayern have officially appointed Thomas Tuchel as their next manager, and now the question is, now what? You know, what does he have to do? Because Julian already had this Bayern side set up pretty well. Now, when I released my last video, I was quite confused as to why they fired Julian. You know, I thought he was doing a sublime job. I'm not saying I'm mad about it or I think it's a bad decision, because, you know, we all know the brilliance of Tuchel and what he's already been able to achieve. But I just thought Julian had so much potential. Why not write it out? But, you know, everyone has different opinions. Someone let me know down in the comment down below in my last video as to why there was more to the story. And you know what? I'm glad they did, because I don't know everything, right? I don't pay attention to Bayern as close as other people do, as close as their fans. You know, I don't watch every single game. I don't hear the reports and stories going on behind the scenes. So if you guys have anything you got to say, or is there anything I get wrong or don't mention, please comment down below. But yeah, so when I made that video, I was just quite confused as to why they did it, because in my opinion, I think Julian is a young prospect manager that has so much more to give. So to me, I didn't quite understand it, but I still didn't quite disagree with it either, because Tuchel is a really good manager. But as soon as I processed and came to terms that Tuchel was the new manager for Bayern, the first thing that came to my head was, wow, there is a lot of pressure riding on this man. And the reason why I think that is just because if Bayern looked at Julian and looked at the results and looked at the way they were playing and they thought that that wasn't good enough, what is it going to take for Tuchel, for him to satisfy the board, for him to satisfy the director, and for him to satisfy y'all? Like, what does he have to do? Because if he has to top Julian, which is, you know, the reason why they brought him in, then he's going to have to hit the ground running. He is going to have to hit the ground running. The fixtures are coming in hard and fast. No homo. But yeah, they face Dortmund right away. That will be his first game in charge. That could potentially be the decider in this race. Yes, is there a lot more games to be played? Yes, of course. But as we know, these games alone can be considered as the championship game. So he already has a huge task in front of him in the first game. Not only that, he then faces Freiburg and the DFB Pokal and the domestic tournament. He then plays them again in the league. But then right after that, just a few days after that, he faces Manchester City in the Champions League quarterfinal. So he already is going to be coming in to chaos. He has to figure out how this Bayern side operate, which is the best way to go at it, and how they're going to go on from here. And so that's why when I realized that, I thought, damn, there is so much pressure on Thomas Tuchel this season, because again, if they didn't think what Julian was doing good enough, and that's the reason why they brought Tuchel, then what is the expectation from Bayern overall of Thomas Tuchel? Does he have to win the league? Does he have to win the domestic tournament? Does he have to win the Champions League? Does he have to win a combination of things, like maybe the league and the domestic tournament, or the Champions League and the domestic tournament? Like, what does he have to achieve for Bayern fans, for the board and director to look back at this moment and think, yes, we made the right decision in firing Julian and hiring Tuchel? Because let's say Tuchel doesn't achieve anything. Let's say that happens. Let's say Tuchel becomes runner-up in the league, loses to Manchester City or, you know, Real Madrid or Chelsea in the next round, and for whatever reason loses in the domestic tournament, right? Let's say let's say he doesn't achieve anything with Bayern this season. Are we then going to look back at this moment and think, damn, what it could have been if we just stuck with Nagelsmann? Because Nagelsmann didn't have this Bayern side set up poorly, right? This is not like the last scenario where Tuchel came in and Chelsea were in the mud, 10th, 8th place in the league, had nothing really going for them. It was expected of them to lose to Real Madrid, be knocked out of the Champions League, but yet somehow he comes in, gets them back in the top 4, and to add the cherry on top, somehow wins in the Champions League. This is not the same scenario, because that was a Chelsea side, to me personally, that didn't have expectations that Thomas Tuchel had to come in and do that. Now, did Chelsea expect better? Did they want Chelsea to end on a high? Yes, of course, but I doubt the owners of Chelsea thought, okay, when we bring in Thomas Tuchel, he has to get back in the top 4. He has to win in the Champions League. But now with Bayern, things are different, right? The scenarios are different. The expectations are different. Number one, the scenario is this is a Bayern side who is only in 2nd place. This is a Bayern side who is only 1 point behind Dortmund, still with a game to play against them. This is a Bayern side that is undefeated in the Champions League, has not lost or drawn, has only conceded twice. I said it in my last video, so I'm not going to just repeat myself. The stats and the achievements that Nagelsmann had with Bayern, we already know. I already said it in my last video, so check that out if you want to. But still, it is still relevant to the topic. He had this Bayern side set up pretty well. Not the most dominant, not the most Bayern side we've seen in recent years, but still well off, still had a lot going for them. So if Thomas Tuchel doesn't achieve anything this season, I'm sure some fans are going to be looking back at this and be thinking, damn, maybe we should have just stuck with Nagelsmann. Maybe we should have seen what he could have done, because his ceiling was high. He's a young manager who's already achieved so much. So who knows what he was going to do? Now we'll never know. But that's in the past now. It is the Tuchel era. So my question is, which I asked at the beginning of this in the video, what does he have to achieve? It's a tough one because I go back and forth. But in my personal opinion, he at least has to win the league. I think it would also be in his best interest to go on a run in the Champions League. And I'm saying that like he has total control of it. There is tough. He is going up against a tough Manchester City side and potentially a Real Madrid side. So that's definitely easier said than done. But that's just what I'm thinking, because there's no way Bayern fired Nagelsmann and brought in Tuchel if there weren't these high expectations. If there weren't this pressure for Tuchel to hit the ground running and to get things going here now and then. So yeah, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts to help me. So please comment down below, especially if you're a Bayern fan. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts because, I don't know everything. So if you have anything that you would like to add, please let me know down in the comments below. I am totally up for debate, and I am totally up for learning new things. But other than that, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you've been enjoying the content. There's a lot more coming soon. But yeah, other than that, I'll see you guys soon.